All right, folks, this is going to be an interesting video because I'm going to show you my dirty little secret. This is my studio for my live streaming for my retro computing channel. And as you can see behind the scenes, it is a disaster. Look at this. This is crazy. Look at all these wires, cables, monitors, all this stuff. Well, what I want to do today is I want to take you through my studio setup for my live streams, and I actually use this setup to record retro computing videos. For instance, if I'm doing a video about the Mega 65, I typically use this setup. This has been the heart of everything. This is the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. I've had this for probably about 3 years, and it has been absolutely rock solid. It's been great, although it did have some struggles at the very beginning. And then I started to grow from the ATEM Mini Extreme and started to add things like a Stream Deck running Companion. And how does Companion work? Well, you have to follow me along over here. I have hidden a Raspberry Pi right there that runs the Companion server. So the Companion server lets me do several things with the ATEM Mini Extreme that I could not do before. I won't get into every single feature, but suffice it to say that that was a really kind of a cool combination. It's very hacky. It's kind of difficult to manage. And I will say that this has become a bit of a struggle during live streams. I've set up some buttons, and my buttons are actually, they're pretty nice. I've got really good setup. You can see all that here running from Companion, but it does take a lot of time to set up, and it is very complicated, and it makes it really hard to add additional button presses because you have to go into the server. It's just very difficult. I've overcomplicated my studio is the point of this. And not just from this side. Let's check out some of the other hardware that I have connected. Here are 1, 2, 3, 4 screens. Now this screen is not connected. That's just a TV up on the wall. Don't get confused by that. But I have a small screen here that actually serves as a monitor for my ATEM Mini Extreme. You know what? Let me go ahead and fire it up so that you can see what it looks like. Hey, Google, live stream. And you can see that I have that on a switch where it automatically boots up and gets ready for a live stream. Everything else pretty much manually has to be turned on. So I come over here and I turn on this monitor. This will come on. This is a monitor that is connected to a Mac Mini. This is an M2 Mac Mini back here, which I use not to really control the live stream because all of that is done from the ATEM Mini. But when I need to show Mac screens, this gets fed into the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. The other input is, of course, a retro computer of some kind, like this Mega 65. But all of that is run through this ClonerAlliance Box Pro Pocket. And the reason I use this as a go-between is many of our retro computers, they don't sync very well with the ATEM. The ATEM is very finicky about what gets input into its HDMI ports. This will convert everything out to a standard 1080p HDMI source, no matter what comes into it. And I also love this because we can do RCA ports. It just covers everything. It's really a great device. But what you're going to find when I'm done, a lot of this complicated stuff is going to go away. Why? Well, before I talk about the rest of my hardware, let me just talk about what we're going to do. We're going to replace my ATEM Mini Extreme, and this is very much an experiment. We're going to see how it goes with the YoloBox Extreme. Now, I have used YoloBox Extreme for live streams already at the paying gig. It was fabulous. I really loved it. It had a lot of inputs. I think we can get up to 8-9 devices in here. And then I'm also going to pair it with the YoloDeck. So putting these two together should decomplicate my Stream Decks with my ATEM Mini ISO. Now, I do know that I'm not probably going to get as many features, but I think as I develop my live stream using the YoloBox and the YoloDeck, things are going to be easier. They're going to be streamlined. They're going to be easier to change on the fly. So I'm really looking forward to trying this. So that's the experiment. What are the parts and pieces that will actually go ahead and move over with the YoloBox as well? I'm not sure about my monitors. That's going to be really interesting. Will I use these same monitor configurations? I do not believe I will. This is the Elgato Teleprompter. I do use that on occasion, but I think I'm going to completely move that out of the live stream studio because this is more for prepared videos. I'm going to take this and move this into another room I have over here. You can see the door right there that goes into a place where I do prepared videos. So let's look around. I do use these cameras. I love these little cameras. These are the Sony ZV-1Fs. They're great for supplemental cameras. I did have one here, pointing here, so I had a different camera. And I also have one here that is pointing down. So I assume I will keep this one. Probably will keep this one. This one is going to be used in a different location. This, again, was just giving me another view of me. So if I was doing a recording, I could switch between. But then for the actual front camera right here, let's come around here. And this was actually kind of nice. This is the Sony ZV-1. And I've used this camera for several years now. Really like it. You can see, gives me a great view. The other piece I have is the Rode mic, which sits here on the supporting bar, but you'll see I've actually run that around here down to the Sony ZV-1 and have the input for the mic there that then runs down to the ATEM Mini. For key lights, I have the Elgato key lights. Now, my plan is to always keep one of these Stream Decks, probably the Stream Deck Plus right here. That will stay connected to the Mac Mini. So I still will be able to control my key lights from this Stream Deck here. Right now, I can do it from here using Companion Studio. In order to record on the ATEM Mini, I have to install a external SD. Now, you can do that on the YoloBox as well, but the YoloBox will have an SD card option. So there's a little something there that we can either keep or, you know, it's just dangling off. But the other thing that I noticed back here, I've forgotten to mention that I had this Google TV. Now, why is a Google TV connected to my ATEM? Well, I'm actually using that along with an extension in the browser to display my chats during the live stream. It's got a Chrome extension you put in, you click on the chat and it kind of scrolls up and scrolls down. If you've seen my live streams, you've seen it. It's okay, it works. But again, it's a bit fidgety and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. The YoloBox has that feature built in where I can tap. Now, I know what a lot of you are also saying as I move over here. You know, in OBS, you can display chats in your live stream as well. However, I don't use OBS to stream. I use the ATEM Mini to host the stream now. But what is interesting though is I do use OBS to display video into the ATEM as well as some lower thirds, some bugs, and some other things. So the other thing I'm looking forward to is I don't have to worry about OBS Studio anymore because the YoloDeck does all of that for me. I can play video, I can show lower thirds, I can show chat. It's all just built in. So I think for that alone, this is going to be a much more pleasurable experience using than it has been with this device here. The other thing, let me share just a couple of things. I mentioned the Mac Mini. If you've not seen it, I love this. And unfortunately, I just learned that these 8-bit do C64 themed keyboards are no longer. They're not making them anymore. Glad I grabbed one, but I just love that I have this connected to my Mac, giving me that kind of retro feel here. But I did want to share that with you. Let me see, is there anything else that I haven't mentioned? Oh, well, there is one other thing. I do have a dock to my Mac Mini back there. You can see for my SD cards, those types of things. I can read that. Oh, and there is some network. There's a network switch right here. So that is back here as well. So I should have shared that. So as you can see, the more I dive into it, as I'm starting to think about taking all this apart, the more complicated it gets and the more stuff that's in here. The speaker right here is just a little monitor that I have on the side. It's an old realistic monitor for ham radios. I love it. It's just retro. It sits there and it just gives me some sound so that I know what's coming out of the system. Not sure if I'll be keeping that. Over here, I do have this little power plug-in adapter here that I really like. It gives me lots of USB ports, lots of ports for additional devices. So when I plug in my retro computer, so that's going to be there. I guess I should also mention, I do have this overhead bar that will stay, and I'll maintain that as part of the studio. All of this is on a table that I got at IKEA. This is a sit stand, but it is a manual. I mean, you've got to turn this thing. And what I thought is there would be times when I would do a standing live stream. There are times when I do a sitting. Turns out I do more sitting than I do standing, but at least I have that option. And then, of course, over here, I have another little table to the side. So I want to redo that as well and try and make things just a little more efficient, give me a little more space, as you can see. Over here, this is kind of interesting. I have just some gadgets and goodies that I typically will use as I'm live streaming, but That needs some work too. And then finally, before we start to, yes, I'm going to tear all of this down piece by piece down to the table. We're going to remove everything. But before I do that, you've probably seen all these things in the background I have. There's my tech up there that's running everything, along with a couple of Google speakers for some music. You can see my Wi-Fi up there. Everything is coming in through the outside through with fiber. You can see that fiber box up there. And then, of course, we have some stuff back here. There's a lovely accountant and I on our honeymoon years ago. There's the little Funko Pop that I gave as supporter gifts a couple of years ago. So just a little behind the scenes, what maybe you've not seen. And yeah, the little junkie right here and some of the videos I've done. Now, what I'm thinking about doing too is, this is the background currently. I did like it when my background was this, where it had all of the, and it needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but it had all the retro computers. So I think that's going to become my background again once I get all this redone. I also like the configuration because this right here is actually a table that I can pull out, and that gives me extra space. And you see I hide some things under there. And as I've mentioned before, we had see those blue stains? We had a inkjet printer explode all over the rug, one of the cartridges, and that was the last time I will ever use an inkjet printer again. Okay, we're gonna see if we can get this studio torn down. Be prepared for the obligatory time lapse. Look at all the wonderful space I have to work with. And that's the end of part one of my studio upgrade, where we kind of looked at all the stuff I used to have, but we're also setting the stage for part two, which you'll want to do all that business down below. Hit like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit those alerts so that you'll know when part two launches. Part two will be the upgrade of this space along with a new desk. So that's it for this edition of retroCombs Tech. And that's it for me. retroCombs out. See you next time. Oh, by the way, check out this playlist if you're looking for some fun stuff to watch while you're waiting for part two of this series.